You're listening to an AppleViz podcast. Hello and welcome. My name is Thomas Domville, also known as Anonymous. In this podcast, I'm going to discuss and talk about the new action button that can be found on the new iPhone 15 Pro and the iPhone 15 Pro Max. This is the action button. I'm going to talk about what it is, where you can find it, and the goods and the bads and everything in between about the action button. All right, so let's talk about the location and what is this action button. On the device itself, so where we have the switch button for your mute and unmute, that little location at the top left on the left side of your device, right above the volume button, is your switch button. And as we know, that allows you to mute your device, so notifications, ringer, and things like that is turned off when it's in mute. And then when you lift that switch up, it goes to unmute, and then you are allowed to hear all your notification and ringer and such once again. Now in iOS 17, they kind of simply renamed that little switch. Instead of mute and unmute, it's now silence and ring. So we'll call that your silence and ring switch. Well, on the iPhone 15 Pro and the Pro Max is the new action button, and that is where your action button is now located. So it simply replaced the switch button. You don't have the switch button anymore on the 15 Pro and the Pro Max on the 15 models. So you have this action button. It's a relatively small button. It is a physical button, so you can feel the button kind of protrude out of your device, and you can press it down and such. The size of it, I would say, if you look at your volume button, for example, it's probably about a third of that size of the volume, maybe not quite half the size of the volume button, but it's relatively small. And so it's about, I would guess, about a third of that size. So you can kind of get that in your mind how small that is. Now, by default, when you press on the action button, it will go into silence mode and ring mode, just like what your switch has to offer. Instead of doing the switching up and down, you just press on it. So essentially you do a long press on it, and it takes about 2 seconds before you feel this haptic, and the function, whatever you programmed for the action button to do, will turn that function on. So I speak of this function. So action button, what makes this really compelling to everybody is that you can assign a function to that action button. So if you don't want that device to go to silence and ring mode anymore, you can assign anything that you want to that. Well, kind of, sort of. I'll explain that. All right, so let me show you what it sounds like to you when I press on the action button now by default. So when I press on it for 2 seconds,
silent mode,
it will tell me it goes to silent mode. Do it again.
Silent ring mode.
It goes back to ring mode. Now, that is what I consider a long press. So it's about 1 or 2 seconds you have to hold it down. Now, if I do a short press on this particular function, and I'm being very specific on that, this particular function, which is the silent and ring, it has the short press. That means I just tap it. I don't have to hold it down. And if you tap it, it'll tell you what mode is in. So in other words, is it on the silent or the ring? So let's try that.
Ring mode.
So we now know it's in ring mode. So let's put it on silent
mode,
and I'll tap it.
Silent mode.
And it tells me it's silent mode. Hold it down again.
Silent mode, ring mode.
Back to ring mode. So it's as simple as that. What I like about it, all I have to do is just press on it. There isn't much to it. My thumb goes right up to the corner there. Hold it down for about a second or so and activate that particular action. Now, I mentioned that you can change the function that you assign to that action button. That's the cool part. Kind of. And I'll explain more to that. We're going to head over to settings, and settings is where there is a new area called actions. So let's find my settings on my device here.
Settings. Double tap to open.
And we are going to do just that. One finger double tap to open.
Settings.
And this takes me to the settings, and I'm going to simply go to the right until I find this brand new action button.
Action button. Button.
And there she is. One finger double tap to open up action.
Settings. Settings. Back button.
Now, okay, so the focus at the top left-hand corner of the screen. As I go to the right, I'm going to swipe to the right once.
Silent mode. Adjustable. Swipe up or down with one finger to adjust the value.
And that gives you a hint that you can swipe up and down to see the various presets that Apple has designed that you can assign to that action button. There are, I believe, 8 different presets as of iOS 17.0, and that allows us to assign what we can do with the action button. Now, the first up is your silence, so that is your mute and unmute item. So if you go to the right here,
Silent mode. Switch between silent and ring for calls and alerts.
it gives you a short explanation of each of these functions or presets that you can assign to. So this one just tells us that it will silent and put in ring mode when you have this set. Now, what's really kind of unique about this action page is that there's no save button, there's no done button. Once you set it on that ticker that we heard on the top, it's set. It's simple as that. Once you're in that mode, it is set, and you can just leave here, and the action mode is set to that function. So let's go towards the top left hand.
Settings. Back button.
Go right.
Silent mode. Adjustable. Swipe up or down with one finger to adjust the value.
So that's the first action item that you can assign to. And now swipe up.
Focus.
We have the focus area. Let's go to the right here.
Focus. Turn focus on to silence notifications and filter out distractions. Do not disturb. Dimmed button.
And this is focus, yes. Focus is something that I have created, and I created this do not disturb. It's dimmed because it's the only one available. If I had multiple focus that I've created, you will be able to select what you want to trigger when this function is assigned. So essentially, when you hit the action button now, it will turn on or off this particular focus, which is do not disturb. So let me do that now, and you're going to hear a little bit different than you would expect. The silent and ring mode was great because it told you that it was either or. You know, you heard that it was in silent mode or it was in focus mode. Well, hear for yourself. So when I press it for about a second or two, all I hear or I get is a haptic feeling. You didn't hear anything, but rest assured, because I did feel that haptic focus is turned on. And if I do that again, I get the haptic feeling, and now that focus is turned off. I hope that in future iOS version that it will announce something being turned on or off, so that way we can be sure that it did work without having to go to the control center and making sure focus is on. That's the only disadvantage I found so far, is that it's early on, but the potential is there. So that's how that works. And you got to see, because we were in the focus page, that is assigned to the action immediately. So let's go to the top left here again.
Settings. Back button.
And to the right.
Focus. Adjustable. Swipe up or down with one finger to adjust the value.
Let's do that. Let's swipe up.
Camera.
Camera. Okay, so now we're in the camera function. This could be great for those out there that love to take lots of photos and whatnot. Now, this has some flexibility to what you can assign in terms of camera. Let's go to the right here and see what we have.
Camera. Open the camera app to capture a moment. Photo button.
You hear that it has photo button. So right now it's assigned to camera and photo, meaning that as soon as you hit that action button, the camera app comes up. Voila, you're ready to take pictures, and you can use your volume button to take picture, go tit, 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 and it's as fast as can be. That's what makes action buttons so cool, is that it's fast. I don't have to unlock the device, tap at the bottom right, look for the camera, double tap that, and get all ready. I can just press on the action button, camera comes up, ready in photo mode, boom. and I can just take pictures quickly and easily. Now, I did say you can configure this a little bit, so let's find out what you can do. So you notice that this says a photo button. Let's double tap that.
Photo button.
So the default and first item up is the photo. So if you like to have it ready to be in photo mode, that's where you want to come and make sure that's selected, but by default is set to photo.
Selfie button.
There's a selfie mode. So if you are one of those that like to take a lot of selfies and check out the background and send it to your friends and you want to hone on that, you double tap that. And so each and every time you hit the action button, not only does it bring up the camera, but it brings on the facing camera, turns it on, and you're in selfie mode.
Video button.
For those who are videographers and you love to do videos instead of pictures, you can select on video.
Portrait button.
There's Portrait Plus.
Portrait selfie button.
And Portrait Selfie if you choose to do so with that mode.
Dismiss context menu.
And
button.
that is it. We are going to dismiss this. Double tap.
Settings. Back button.
And that takes you back to the top left and go to the right.
Camera. Adjustable. Swipe up or down with one finger to adjust the value.
And that is the camera. Let's swipe up, see what our next preset is.
Flashlight.
Is the flashlights. Let me just go to the right here, have it explain what this does.
Flashlight. Turn on extra light when you need it.
Not something I think either of us are going to use, but for those low vision folks out there, it just needs a little bit of help when it's dark out there. That might be something you want to use. Let's go to top left.
Settings. Back button.
And to the right.
Flashlight. Adjustable. Swipe up or down with one finger to adjust the value.
Let's go to the next function. Swipe up.
Voice memo.
Voice memo.
Voice memo. Record personal notes, musical ideas, and more.
Pretty self-explanatory. If you are one of those that loves just to be able just to tap that action button and voila, you're straight into voice memo and it will start automatically recording. Yes, you don't even have to hit the record button. Just tap that and boom, you're recording and you're on the go. Press the action button again and it'll stop the voice memo. That is very useful to take quick notes or on-the-fly recording of anything you want. I can see some of you folks out there that probably would like to take advantage of that. Let's go to top left.
Settings. Back button.
And to the right.
Voice memo. Adjustable. Swipe up or down with one finger to adjust the value.
Let's head into the next function. Swipe up.
Magnifier.
Magnifier. So let's go to the right here.
Magnifier. Turn your iPhone into a magnifying glass to zoom in on and detect objects near you.
Now this, my friend, is going to be great for my low vision folks out there that are listening in. Yes, you can now have that assigned to the magnifier. It's, this is going to make it easy and quick to be able to bring up the magnifier on the fly by just simply pressing the action button. So though you need some little bit additional help with the magnifier, boom, you have that at your hands now.
Settings. Back button.
Let's go to the right here.
Magnifier. Adjustable. Swipe up or down with one finger to adjust the value.
Let's swipe up.
Shortcut.
We have shortcut. Now, I'm going to come back to this in a moment. Now, this is where it's going to have some good news and bad news, and we're going to get more into that in a moment. I'm going to go ahead and swipe up, go to our next set of function.
Accessibility.
Yes, we have accessibility. Yes, this is going to be quite useful for those that can't quite perform that triple tap on the side button. It essentially does the same thing as this triple side button, but it might offer just a little bit different too. And as I mentioned before, action button is something that's just so easy to locate. Press down, and that's all you got to do. There is no double tapping, triple tapping, anything like that, because you got to be pretty good about triple tapping on that side button, right? Because if you do it too many times, you get the SOS going on, or if you just do it twice, you initiate Siri. So I get it. You just want something easy to do and assign to this action button just by depressing it. Let's go ahead and go to the right here.
Accessibility. Quickly use an accessibility feature.
All right, so what do we have to offer here? You go to the right.
Choose a feature button.
Now we can choose a feature. So let's go kind of scan what we have available for you can assign to the action button in terms of accessibility.
Activate to dismiss pop-up window button.
Let's go to the right.
Accessibility heading. Heading. Image. A white circle with a black center. Vision. Classic invert. Classic invert reverses the colors of the display. Button.
All right, so we've gotten to the vision section, so I'm going to just kind of just slowly go to the right and allow you to hear for yourself what's available.
Color filters. Color filters can be used to differentiate colors by users who are colorblind and aid users who have difficulty reading text on the display. Button. Detection mode. Start detection mode on the magnifier app. Button.
That is sweet. So if you would like to be able to bring up the detection mode immediately, and that allows you to do a lots of different things to detect. So you can have that reading text, or you can have that look for a person in front of you, your door detection. There's all quite a few things you can do in detection mode. And of course, most of those items will be tied to the LiDAR, meaning that you're stuck with the Pro, but right now the action button is only for the Pro, so you'll be able to take advantage of that.
Increase contrast. Increase color contrast between app foreground and background colors. Button. Reduce motion. Reduce the motion of the user interface, including the parallax effects of icons. Button. Reduce transparency. Improve contrast by reducing transparency and blurs on some backgrounds to increase legibility. Button. Reduce white point. Reduce the intensity of bright colors. Button. Smart invert. Smart invert reverses the colors of the display, except for images, media, and some apps that use dark color styles. Button. Voiceover. Voiceover speaks items on the screen. Button.
Yes, I can assign the triple tap on the side button to do voiceover, but now I can assign that to the action button. So if you just want to tap that little action button, it turns voiceover off and on.
Zoom. Zoom magnifies the entire screen. Button. Heading. Image. A white logo on a black background. Motor. Switch control. Switch control allows you to use your iPhone by sequentially highlighting items on the screen that can be activated through an adaptive accessory. Button. Voice control. Voice control allows you to use your voice to control your iPhone, even when you are on calls. Button. Full keyboard access. Use an external keyboard to control your iPhone. Button. Assistive touch. Assistive touch allows you to use your iPhone if you have difficulty touching the screen, or if you require an adaptive accessory. Button. Apple Watch mirroring. Share and control your Apple Watch screen from a paired iPhone. Button. Control nearby devices. Control nearby devices allows you to use another device on the same iCloud account from this iPhone. Button. Heading. Image. A black letter inside a white circle. Hearing. Background sounds. Plays background sounds to mask unwanted environmental noise. These sounds can minimize distractions and help you to focus, calm, or rest. But left/right balance. Adjust the audio volume balance between left and right channels. Button. Live captions. Your iPhone will use on-device intelligence to automatically display captions across all apps. Accuracy of live captions may vary and should not be relied upon in high-risk or emergency situations. Button. Heading. Image. A white logo on a black background. General. Guided access. Keep iPhone in a single app and control which features are available. Button. Live speech. Type phrases for your iPhone to speak aloud. Button.
And that is it. There was a lot that you can assign to the action button in terms of accessibility, so that's very welcome. And I'm sure some of those items can be very beneficial for some of your listeners out there that could probably think you might, wow, I could use that for that. That would be cool. Let's go to top here.
Activate to dismiss pop-up window.
Dismiss
Button.
that.
Settings. Back button.
And let's go to the right.
Accessibility. Adjustable. Swipe up or down with one finger to adjust the value.
Let's swipe up.
No action.
And then we have no action. That's the end of it. So those are the presets that you can assign to the action button. Now, as I promised, I didn't go, kind of skipped over a shortcut, and there's a reason for that, but let's come back to that. So I'm going to just swipe down, because as you swipe up, you kind of go in a clockwise position through the function. Now I'm going to go in reverse order, counterclockwise, and I'm going to go back to shortcut by swiping down several times.
Accessibility. Shortcut.
Here we are to shortcut. Now, I mentioned there's good news and bad news. So first of all, let's go to the right and have this explained to us.
Shortcut. Open an app or run your favorite shortcut.
All right, so this is the best part, I think, and that is Apple gives us the ability to add or tag a shortcut to the action button for us to use. So that can be good news and bad news. So let's go to the right one more here.
Choose a shortcut button.
And that allows us to tag a shortcut to the action button. Now, why did I say good news and bad news? Well, obviously, you know that shortcut can be complicated. I agree with you. I think a standard general user out there that wants to learn shortcut, there is a learning curve to do this. So I'm kind of sort of disappointed that Apple would throw us this as an option, and meaning that I know the Apple's to say, well, you got shortcut. You can do anything you want to with shortcut. Well, I'm thinking out loud to myself, a general user, let's just say Mrs. Mouse or my mom, for example, to have them use shortcut would be daunting. Okay, so if you ever taken a look at shortcut, you know what I'm talking about. It can be very daunting. Now, for some users, it can be something that they can pick up pretty quickly, and others, they aren't. So there are some good news and bad news. The good news is that there are some simple things we can do easily, and I'm going to show you those right now when we double tap on this button. So let's double tap this and see what we get.
Sheet grabber button.
Let's go to the right here.
Search shortcuts. Text field. Double tap to edit. Swipe up or down to select a custom action. Then double tap to activate. Get started. Open app button.
Now, the first thing that pops up is Open App. And what I really love about this option is that anybody is able to do this. So if you want your action button to be able to open up an app, that's all you want. That gives us ability, and it gives it to us in a very easy form and way to use. And so that's the first thing I'm going to show you is the Open App. So if you want to assign that to open up a specific app, let's do that. Let's do one finger double tap on this.
App.
All right, so now we're going to go to the right.
Choose heading.
And now you're going to be given a list of all the apps that are on your device. So let's take a look at some of these apps that I have installed on my device.
Cancel button. Search field. Dictate button. 10 Tampa Bay. AdGuard Pro. Ira. Amazon Alexa. App Store. Apple Store. Audio memos. Bard Mobile. Be My Eyes.
I'm going to stop there. Wouldn't it be great if I could just tap the action button and it opens Be My Eyes immediately? That's how that works. So if I double tap that.
Settings. Back button.
Now let's go to the right until we see the button where we choose the shortcut. Let's see what it says there now.
Shortcut. Adjustable. Swipe up or down with one finger to adjust the value. Shortcut. Open an app or run your favorite shortcut. Open Be My Eyes button.
And it's easy peasy. See? So anybody could do this. And even for myself, I was like, wow, all right, I could do this. And now if I run the action button, it will run Be My Eyes. It won't take you to exact spot in Be My Eyes. For example, say you want to do a call volunteer, whatever, and you want to go straight to that action. It's not going to happen. So essentially, it just opens up the app, and then you'll have to tap on the various items to be able to perform that particular action. So because if you are familiar with Be My Eyes, so the Be My AI is the one I use all the time, and it will remember what you last used. So I always use that. So when I open up Be My Eyes, it'll take me directly to the Be My Eyes section where it has Be My AI. So let me show you an example here. So if I hit the action button and hold it down.
Settings Be My Eyes in progress.
And then tap to center.
Take picture button.
You can immediately take a picture and then Be My Eyes runs. How awesome is that? So you can immediately be able to go to Be My AI quickly and easily. Now, let's go back to our settings here. And so we can go into more areas of that shortcut because I have more to explain to you and things to think about.
Settings. Double tap to open. Settings. Open an app or run your favorite shortcut. Open Be My Eyes button.
Okay, so we're back here. Now, the crummy part is that you're only able to run one action at a time. In other words, whatever you set to for the action menu or the action button to run, you can only do one action. So you're stuck with that. And you're probably thinking, well, what happened to if I want to silence my phone? Well, that's a good question. Because you're only able to tag one action to your action button, you are then have to think about workarounds, and that's okay. So now if I want to silence my phone, what I do is I go to the control center. So with those with the Face ID, you just go to the top and drag down, go to the control center. So I'm going to open up control center.
Control center, airplane mode, switch button, off. Double tap and hold to show more controls. Double tap to toggle setting. Swipe up or down to select a custom action, then double tap to activate.
What's cool is there's a mute button in this area. So I got pretty used to where that location is in terms of Touch Explorer. So I'm going to touch the area where I think the mute button is.
Mute, switch button, off. Double tap to toggle setting.
Okay, so there's the mute. You double tap that, and that's how you mute. So that's how you would go from silence to ring mode, or we are familiar with the unmute and mute. So I just simply go to the control center and find my mute and double tap, and that does the same thing. Now I know that's not a great answer, but it is an option and an alternative solution for you. Yes, I wish that Apple would give us the ability to add things to the action button. In other words, instead of just doing one action, wouldn't it be great to have a list of actions that I can do? That is not possible at the time of this recording. Hopefully that we will be able to add more things to it. The other thing to note is that third parties are not allowed to add action to the action button. So in other words, all the different actions that I've showed you here today, they will not be able to add anything to it. So that's kind of a bummer too, meaning that we are forced to use shortcut to do what we want. So let's go back to the settings here.
Shortcut, adjustable. Shortcut. Open an app or run your favorite shortcut. Open Be My Eyes button.
And I'm going to double tap this. And let's go back to the Open App button that we were left at here.
Open App button.
There it is. Now, there are many different shortcuts you can choose from immediately and have it work. So let's go through some of those so you can get an idea for yourself what those are. Plus, I'm going to show you a bonus here.
Favorites button. Recently played button. Set timer button. New note button. Recognize music button. My shortcuts button. Show folder button. Multi-button button.
We'll get back to that multi-button.
Run shortcut from folder button. Books, read current, play current button. ChatGPT, start voice conversation button.
Interesting, right? So they can have some third-party apps that are already in Shortcut that you can design and use with. So ChatGPT here, yes, you can assign that to your action button if you want. Now, in this case, ChatGPT only allows you to do this as if you're a subscriber. So for those that are using the free tier, it doesn't work. But Perplexity, if you have heard about that, does work, and you can assign a shortcut for that.
Clock, set timer, add alarm button. Code scanner, show code scanner button. Files, scan document button. Freeform, new board, boards, open board button.
So those are just examples. There's many to go through here. And if you open up the Shortcut app itself, you will find many, many different things you can do. And if you want to take that challenge and learn Shortcut, that's a whole different day and topic. But you can do so much in there and be able to create a shortcut that you want. For example, I had created a shortcut myself. Let me show you the shortcut that I've created here.
New note button. Recognize music button. My shortcuts button.
Go back to my shortcuts, double tap.
Sheet grabber button. Double tap to dismiss sheet.
Let's go to the right here.
Activate to dismiss pop-up window button. My shortcuts. Close button. Show folder button. Multi-button button. Run shortcut from folder button. Move image. A black and white logo against a white background. Action.
Now I created a folder that has 3 shortcuts that I've created. First one is
Open Be My Eyes button.
Now we have already done a little demonstration how you could do that. So I created a separate shortcut to do this.
Open Seeing AI button.
and I created one for the Scene AI. Now, there's a reason why I created these two shortcuts, and basically that's all they do. They just open the app itself. So just like Be My Eyes, I can just run this particular shortcut or attach it to my action button. It will run and open up Scene AI. And there you can also program what you want the first channel to pop up. So my example, if I were to run that, it will take me to the first item, first channel, which is short text. That allows me to scan things quickly on my product or whatever not, and that way I can see what it is without having to take the time to go through Be My Eyes approach. It's just a little quicker and a little faster.
Ask Perplexity button.
Now, that's one I was going to show you. Now, I created this, and it took a few steps to do. It wasn't too difficult, but I will admit it took me some time to make. Now, what's cool about this is that some third-party apps allow you to create certain action within the shortcut app itself. And then you can define what it does and what you want it to do. And one of that option is to ask Perplexity. That is very much like a chat GPT, but it will allow, so if I were to assign that to my action button, and when I hit my action button, it will bring up Perplexity, but what it'll do, it'll go straight to the box where I can ask a question for my chat GPT, and I say, all right, and it will send me back the answer. How cool is that? So those are some of the ideas what you can do with the shortcut. Now, before I leave out of here, I want to show you something that I think is really fascinating, and I'll leave this in the show note. There is a site out there, and they are known for blogging and producing Apple news and various Apple articles. Well, some clever guy was genius to come up with something called multi-button. And you probably heard that a couple times as I swipe past it. Now let's go back left until I find multi-button.
Open Seeing AI button. Open Be My Eyes button. Action. Move image. Run shortcut from folder. But multi-button button.
Multi-button is a clever little shortcut. And I'll admit, it's beyond my knowledge, but setting up was a little bit difficult. I would say an immediate level to advanced users will be able to use it. Now, some people say they got it to work pretty easily. For me, it took a little bit for me to get permission granted and things like that. But if you want to take that leap and you want to utilize this, I'll leave it in the show note. Go to that article. It'll tell you a little bit about what multi-button does, and you can download it. That's the beautiful part about shortcut. Is if somebody creates a shortcut, you can share that, and you're able to download it, and voila, you have the shortcut. Now, setting up was as simple as me telling what are the two things I want to assign to the action button. Yes, you heard that right. That's why it's called multi-button. This clever little guy was able to figure out how to put two action within the action button. How did he do that? It's because shortcut allows him to be able to register a push of a button on the action button, meaning that you have X number of seconds to tap it twice or once to implement either of the actions, so you can run one or the other. So what I've done is under multi-button, I'm going to go ahead and just activate this.
Settings, back button.
Let's go to the right, make sure it's implemented.
Shortcut, adjustable. Swipe up or down with one finger to adjust the value. Shortcut. Open an app or run your favorite shortcut. Multi-button, button.
Excellent. So now that's selected. All right, so when you set that up for the first time, it asks what two shortcuts you want to use. You have a primary one, and you have a secondary one. And the links that I showed you what I've created the shortcuts was the Open Be My Eyes, and the other one is Open Scene AI. And that's exactly how it works. So if I hold down the action button, it will run the primary one, which is Be My Eyes. If I were to press it, short press on the action button and short press it again within so many seconds, then it will implement the secondary shortcut. I assign Open Scene AI in that respect. So, yes, it's that cool. So I'm able to do a long press, hold, and open up Be My Eyes. So now that it's been assigned, check this out. So when I'm ready, I hit the action button.
Settings, be my eyes. Be my eyes. Take picture button.
Boom. I'm right at Be My Eyes. I can take a picture, and voila, I can take a look, see what's around me. That is sweet, isn't it? So I don't have to unlock the screen, find the Be My Eyes, double tap it, open it, and be able to take a picture. You can just do it immediately with the action button. That's my most favorite thing so far on action button. Now, I mentioned you can do it, press it twice to get the scene AI. Yep, let's try that. So I'm going to tap the action button once and twice.
Seeing channel, short text, adjustable.
And now I'm just directly into Scene AI, and then I can start using the short text and to read things around me. How cool is that? Oh man, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you understand how to press the action button to activate the secondary shortcut, it becomes easier to press and activate it. And that's a little bonus I want to throw in there, and that is how you can run two things in the action button. And that's the one I use on an everyday, daily basis. So they'd like to ask, hey, which action do you have assigned to your action button? Well, I can say I'm using this pretty cool multi-button shortcut that somebody created that allows me to run two actions with my action button. And those are being able to open up Be My Eyes and open Scene AI if I want. And then I could just simply go to Control Center and mute when I want to mute my device. Now, I wish, and as of 17.1 iOS, you're not able to assign any additional buttons to the action button, meaning I wish there was able to assign various presses to action buttons. In other words, long press, and then I want to do double tap or triple tap, and that allows me to assign more action to the action button. I don't know if that will ever come. I hope it does, but at this time we are not able to do that. I hope in this podcast you get an idea how the action button works, what you can use it for, to help you get some ideas. I wonder if this would work and if that's something I can assign to my action button. I have a love-hate relationship with the action button. My love is that now I'm able to use the Be My Eyes and Scene AI quickly and easily just by pressing the action button. It's a lot easier than having to double tap or triple tap the side button for those that have trouble in doing so. Now, my hate for it is that I can only do one thing, so I'm kind of restricted. And thankfully for the shortcut, I can get two things, but I really would be able to love to have the option where I press it and it gives me a list of things, double tap, and go. That's ideally where I want to go with my action button. So let me know what you think of this new action button, what you have assigned to it. I would be really curious what you have found to be quite easy or something that you found that is ideal for your situation, as all of us have different thoughts and reasoning why we want to put something on action button. So let me know in the podcast notes. Just put a comment in there. Let me know what you think of the action button, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and what you assign to that action button. My name is Thomas Domville, also known as Not a Mouse. Until next time, bye-bye.
This AppleVis podcast has been brought to you by the community of applevis.com for the latest in resources and tips and tricks to get you the best experience from your Apple device. Visit www.applevis.com.